Good to see everyone here. Right, so I think it's the first time I see many of the faces here. So I can finally put the face to the avatar or the names on the forum. So that's really nice. I think it's a very nice departure from Twitter Space, which has lots of problems. So Zoom is our savior. Right, the agenda for today, tonight is actually, there are several things. One is that we want to discuss some of the governance proposal that we have put up, namely the Polygon and Tron proposal, which was passed. So that is really interesting. With that, we can now support Polygon and Tron on top of BSC as well. Another governance proposal that we have recently passed is actually the Max Validators for our FX core. So we have increased the 20 validator to 50, which means that we have increased from 20 company hosted validators to 50. So that is very interesting. And what really surprised me was actually, we were actually a little bit worried, to be honest, guys and girls, that when we increased from 20 to 50, we weren't sure that we would actually be able to fill up the slots very quickly. And to our pleasant surprise, we actually now have 46 validators, which means that we only have 3 more spots left. And I believe many of you that are tuning today are actually validators. So I'm very happy and pleasantly surprised. What I've mentioned this also in our internal company meeting was that the forum, FunctionX forum, most popular thread so far, exceeding 500 response, is actually the validator thread. Why do I say that it's great, pleasantly surprising, is that in many forums that I am active in, I rarely see a developer slash validator related thread that is actually the most active in the whole of the forum. So I think that gratitude actually goes on to the many of you. And I know that David is the one that is the most pleased. So David, tell us like how you felt. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well, David.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you know, I mean, the thing closest to my heart is the governance voting. And so, because I think that's really our clearest path to true decentralization. So, you know, we've had, I'm sorry I missed the first part. I think Twitter Spaces is attacking me because I badmouthed them. But you know, we've had 3 governance proposals recently passed, both with the Polygon and the Tron cross bridge. And that's a very exciting thing for us, because that's also, you know, part of where we're going in terms of being a decentralized ecosystem. And then the other proposal that recently passed is in terms of increasing the number of validators. So I know this somehow this doesn't always sound sexy to people, but what it means for us is, again, that we become a more democratic ecosystem. And the more voices that we have, the better, the more secure we'll be, and the more democratic that we'll be. So, you know, we started off with just 24 company or foundation hosted validators, and now we've grown to 50. So that number was passed through a governance vote. And that means that we've brought in not only public validators, and they're, you know, people who are in our community, and a big shout out to Richard Ng, who really guided people to become a validator from the public, from the community. And we also have 3 NGOs, or 3 you know, government or institutions that have joined as validators. one from the Japanese blockchain association, one from the Indonesian blockchain association, and then the final one from the European University in Cyprus. So this, again, I think increases our credibility in terms of what our whole governance structure will be. So it has been a really exciting thing, and again, I think this it's reflected. As I think I heard, as I first came on. Maybe somebody has to be muted. So
yeah,
it's also being reflected in what we're seeing in the forum. And so, that's been very exciting to me, because it's not only, I because at least for me, it's clear voices. So sometimes, when you participate in Twitter or in Telegram or in other kind of open social media, it gets very noisy. And it's very difficult to sort of block out the haters and silly questions or whatever. And the forum has been really focused on very specific issues. And so in the area that's again kind of very exciting to me has been in this increase in validators. And so that creates interesting I think opportunities for us and challenges for us. One of the discussions that I've really been tuning in on is how there's going to be greater competition among validators. So when we were just foundation hosted validators, everything was quite controlled. And whatever choice you made, it was sort of pretty equal among the validators. And now that we have this growing community of validators, there's going to be greater competition. And and then very basic questions start coming up. Do people want to delegate their tokens to a validator solely based on APY? What other things do they look at? And I'd really like to call out Telchar, one of the members in our community, who I think brings out in the forum, really well thought out ideas about how sort of competition among validators can grow and can help us, become, again, more democratic and help people, in delegating their tokens, make rational, good choices based on, whether a validator is voting, whether a validator, how much downtime he or she is experiencing, and all of those other things. And that's part of that whole package that I think we use to evaluate our validators.
Yeah, David, and also that's very interesting. And also I think it's also worth really shouting out to the community validators that the kind of like creativity that they are using to actually attract the redelegation of the tokens. Some have actually went to a 0 commission rate to attract redelegation. Some, like Claudio, have actually set up dedicated website to explain why DRs are actually effective. And there's even one validator that is actually trying to give out lucky draws to those that redelegate to his or her validator. So I think that is really encouraging to see a decentralization happening. So in fact, as you say, as of now, we have more public validators than our company hosted validator. And in fact, one of the things that the developer team and also are discussing is how to further decentralize the FX token delegation from the companies to the public, to community. Many of you are actually hosting them here. The first thing that we did was to actually increase the commission rate of the top 5 validator, which all belongs to the company, which means that instead of 1% right now, those top 5 validator charge 5%. And we have seen some people actually redelegating to the community, which charges 0 point something percent, many of you. So I think that is also a very encouraging sign. And we plan to even further incentivize the movement of FX token from company validators to the public. So I was talking to Richard earlier today, and we are trying to figure out some methods to actually move those incentive over. Yeah. Back to you, David.
You know, those are really the key points that I had to discuss. Again, I'm not sure what you said during those first 2 minutes when I was trying to work out the technology here.
Sure. And I think, David, one thing that we talked about in our internal company meeting on Tuesday, right, was actually how transparent we are. And we want to take it a step further, whereby from now on, many of you have already felt it. If you are an active forum person, you would have seen that nowadays we are actually updating developer weekly updates on the forum itself. In fact, a company team member actually commented that why the community, someone that is not working full-time for the company, actually knows things even faster than he did. And simply because we now have taken a very proactive and transparent approach, in the sense that we are updating developer weekly there. We will post design screenshots. We will share testnet progresses on forum in a very, very transparent way. So maybe our developers, designers, BD managers have figured out something an hour ahead, and it will already be on the forum. So I think that is also a very great sign. And I don't know, how do you guys feel? Because for those of you that are active in the forum, maybe you have felt that already, guys. All right.
So do you want to take a few questions? I think there's a really good question there about explaining slashing, because that's one of those things that we talk about as a way to, I don't know if the word is penalize, but that when a validator doesn't perform or runs into problem, we have this slashing. And so the question, I think, from Vicky Noster is that, explain what slashing means for newbies like me. Do I lose my coins if the validator gets slashed, or is it just the coins that were being generated? So it's I think that's a good question if you want to answer that, Zach.
Sure. I would love to answer that. But I would like to see if Richard is actually in the chat, our developer. He will actually be able to answer it even better than us. Yeah. Go ahead, Richard, if you are here.
Oh, yes. So there are two conditions to slashing. One would be, downtime, and secondly would be double signing. So these are the two main conditions for slashing. So if you do a double signing, right, you get the entire delegators, or the entire delegated stack will get slashed by 5%. And that validator will not be able to unjail himself. That means he'll be taken offline.
And so if that happens, can a delegator then redelegate to another validator?
Okay, so if, let's say, the validator is jailed, then you cannot redelegate within a 21-day period. So you'll be locked out for 21 days.
So the delegators are also punished, if you will,
yes, yeah. So the key point here is to choose a validator that you really trust, and you know that they won't double sign, or make sure that they have continuous uptime.
And so that's difficult at the beginning. I mean, we don't, in other words, these validators don't have a history that you can look at in terms of seeing, what their downtime is and those kinds of things. So it does become, so I understand, Vicky's concern here that that's keeping her from delegating to other validators because of that uncertainty about, so that's, I don't know if there's any way of, of addressing that, or if it's just something that'll sort of work out over time as validators are able to build their own histories of good conduct and good uptime.
Yes, correct. So to address that point, I think we have, we have decided to come up with quite a few schemes or proposals. Like, for example, coming up with certain parts of the UI on the Explorer or something that, showcases a validator's uptime, or having some kind of way to, further incentivize validators who act honestly on the network. So these are just some of the proposals that I've mentioned on the forum as well. And, I'm taking it to the public validators as well to hear their concerns and, some of their own feedback.
One of those other suggestions that was made, I think Telchar made it, is that when a validator is going to change his or her commission rate, that there be some lead time for that. So in other words, if one's been a very, has gone to a validator because they were offering a 0 commission, you don't want to wake up the next day and all of a sudden they, have a 20% commission. So that there should be some kind of lead time when a validator wants to increase or to change, the commission rate, so that delegators can make a judgment about that.
Correct. I think that's a good point. And there's another question by Ive. Will the company validators disappear over time and taken over by public validators? I think a good way to look at this is that as time goes by, we want to increase the validator from 20 to 50, which we already did, and even furthermore. In that way, we can actually encourage even more participation from the public. So I think that is an even better way than to let the company validators disappear. As of now, as we said, numbers wise, the public validator is already more than the company validators. And what we need to do right now is to incentivize the people that have delegated to move from the company validators to the public validator, which we are doing a stepwise, kind of increment with that. Yeah. All right. Why don't I update everyone about the tech front? Like, one thing that is very, very exciting is actually the EVM, which has gone live on testnet. We have moved the EVM support from DevNet, which is internal, to testnet, which means that right now on testnet, you will be able to launch Solidity dApps directly on testnet, which means that if you want to fork or deploy any of those DeFi dApps that is already on Ethereum onto the testnet, you will not need to do any adjustment. It's 100% compatible. The codes are 100% compatible to be launched on testnet. So I think that is a very, very exciting thing. And right now it is already being tested on testnet. In fact, we already have at least one dApp that is running on testnet since we announced that the EVM support is actually available on testnet. And for those of you developers that are interested to launch your Solidity dApps on testnet, please go ahead, because we need you to test the testnet so that hopefully we will be ready on mainnet. And once it is live, we hope that, or we expect that it will be a very, very exciting journey from then on. Any questions on that, guys? All right. Should we move on to fxdm, David?
Right. So I think Judy and Andreas can chime in here now to let us to catch everyone up on that, because that's also, I have to say that that's also been an area where there's been some really good brainstorming from the XFners who've joined in with terrific ideas about how to make the whole process of rewarding the creatives who are assisting us, how to best assess them and reward them. Andreas, Judy.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Hi everyone, nice to see you all. I'm in space, as you can see. For the fxcm, we are having some progress, and a big shout out to our fxners who's been giving a lot of great ideas and making the whole system and our process even more organized and more systematic. So I am very excited that I think we are pushing this whole program, keep on pushing this program further. And now we have already receiving submissions to fxdm, including AMA referrals and different content from videos to images and to articles. And there's someone even wrote a book about PrintyX. This is beyond imagination. So very thankful to everyone's creativity. And we are now, like I just mentioned, we are now in the process of making this more systematic, so we can give out a very good reward system that's even more complete than the one we have already proposed. End of last month, we already have the first meeting, and during this period, everyone has been working and trying to give out good ideas. And this we're having another meeting this weekend, since everyone's very busy, so we're having the meeting on the weekend. So really thankful to everyone for donating their Saturday for fxcm, and we shall be pushing more, whether on our social media, and we all welcome everyone to apply to fxcm. And also, if you have any questions, you can feel free to find me, find Andreas, or find any of our community member, FX community member that can reach us, and we welcome everyone to either to apply or to recommend us if you see any great content that you think this cannot be missed, everyone should see. We really welcome that. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank you, Judy and Andreas, for really bringing this together. Well done.
Yes, and yes, like Judy mentioned, basically the functioneer group merged so good together. Like CryptoWars, Claudio, Scene, Telchar, they all bring their ideas, right? And like improving the way of evaluation of the submissions and the way to submit. So it's very good to have all these ideas combined so we can improve fxtm and make it even more accessible to everyone to apply easier. So On this one, we are also working on a way to make like a one-pager that can hopefully also be a website for people to read what is fxtm, rather than just going on the FX forum and probably get lost from all these comments. So to have like a one page explaining everything and how the rewards are given, and then like submit directly from there.
Thank you.
Yes.
David, I can try to answer some of the questions.
Good. Do.
All right. Okay. So I think who asked this? Blockhead, right? Blockhead asked that when will we have codeless nodes? I think that relates to our fxcloud, which we have tested quite a bit. We have tested 3 times, 3 beta for fxcloud. So when will we be seeing this? It's something that is being asked quite a bit on the forum as well. So right now, we actually do not have any plans to launch fxcloud, because we want to focus on the validator setup, as we realize that the technical requirements is actually higher than we expected. So what we want to focus on is really to get the public validators going, prevent slashing from happening, and for validators to be able to update their versionings very quickly, to make sure that the uptime is 100%, if not close to 100%. Hence, we decided not to launch the codeless nodes yet, but the product is actually more or less built, but we want to just choose a right moment to release it. So as of now, our focus is really to get those that are more technically competent to run the validators. So I hope that answers the question. The second one is that what will fxUSD be pegged to, since there are quite a few variations? Yes, for those of you that use FX Wallet often, you have seen the term fxUSD being floated quite a bit. In fact, you would have seen that as a reward token, even though no fxUSD has been given out so far. And the very good question is that what is fxUSD being pegged to? So one thing to be clear is that we have not launched fxUSD yet. And when we launch it, there are 2 proposals to peg it. We discussed that also quite a bit on the forum. One is to directly peg it with an existing or a multitude of existing stablecoin, USDC, DAI, even USDT, BUSD. These are some of the possibilities to peg it 1-to-1. This is option number 1. And option number 2 is actually to take various crypto assets, stable crypto assets, such as BTC, Ethereum, or even our own token, to collateralize and create fxUSD. So the loan value could be, 50%, which means that for every $2 worth of BTC, you will be able to generate $1 of fxUSD. So these are like the 2 options we have. But as of now, fxUSD has not been created yet. And we can continue to discuss and debate which option is the better option on the forum, of course. Yeah. All right. David, do you know when will Ryan's interview be live?
Broadcast. He hasn't. I just threw that question to Pekka as well. But so Ryan Matta, for those of you who follow him or watch his YouTube programs, Zach and I did another interview with him, and he's become a really great supporter of what we're doing. And he also, I mean, someone has asked the question with regard to the DEX, because that was obviously the really big hook for Ryan in getting excited about what you discussed during the interview. And so maybe you'd like to share some of those things. I know people are always, looking for a timeline, like when is this coming out? So maybe you'd like to give us an update on where we are with the DEX and what it all holds for us.
Sure, David. So right now, our trading system engineers and also the blockchain engineers are actually actively testing the DEX. And as we have a sneak peek in Ryan's interview, we hope to have a early beta version early next year. So hopefully in January, we will be able to see that beta version. The objective of having the beta version out is actually for people to test it, to use it, and even to break it. And also, very importantly, for people to see how different will this DEX be designed. It is not a simple AMM. It is something very different, whereby users will be able to trade perpetual on traditional assets. So we're talking about like Tesla's equivalent or gold equivalent and etc. So this is something that we hope to be able to bring out the beta version for people to test it and break it in January. So we want this to be designed in such a way that it has active member community participation. So that is something that we want to throw out and for everyone to use it. Yeah. And I think another thing that we shared with Ryan is that why are we so confident that the DEX will be able to perform in a very high throughput and transaction manner? In a very high level context, what we have designed is that we plan to have a chain for different pairs. So for example, today, David, you are actually doing a Gold GLD dash BTC pair, and I'm doing a Tesla slash USD stablecoin pair. In that effect, you are doing your trading pair, which is irrelevant to mine and mine irrelevant to yours. So why don't you trade on a single blockchain and I trade on another blockchain, and only when you exit that trade that you go back to the main layer one chain, so to speak. So every trading pair in theory can be live on one blockchain. Of course, all the chains are interconnected and they will use the same native token as the fees or as the burning token, whatever that we want to call it. So I think that fundamental design change will give us a very strong advantage over how high the transaction and throughput can be. So to sum it up, instead of having a Gold dash BTC trading pair and a Tesla dash USD trading pair and all different pairs on one single blockchain, we can actually split it up to many layer twos and then reconnect them back into layer one. And the reason why we can do that is simply because there isn't any relation between David, you trading a Gold dash BTC pair and me trading a Tesla dash USD pair, because they don't interact with each other, not until you have sort of like closed your position and go back to US dollar, or I have closed my position to go back to gold. Then we will need to be able to, talk to each other in that sense on the layer one. So I think that design philosophy will be will be our competitive advantage. Yeah, which is something that the developers, the designers, our product people are, working on heavily. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, Alchemist. Is it who is it?
No, Walter.
Walter. Hey, hi.
Hi. Now I have a question. I was wondering if maybe this month or beginning of January, a new roadmap or something like that could be presented, just for like the future perspective of new investors or the investors that are already for a long time in Function X, if that would be possible.
Yeah, sure. Walter, I think maybe it was you who mentioned that in the chat. We have a lot of pieces, moving pieces. So I think it's the right time in 2022 as the year starts to kind of like give a big picture of a run through of what Function X is and how in many ways relate to PundiX as well, like the left hand and the right hand. So I think that is a worthy thing to do, especially to get the new token holders interested, because I think some people do fail to understand the magnitude of the project. Yeah.
No, we definitely should do that, but probably it'll come out more like in a Medium article. I always think those are better. I think roadmaps are sometimes a little bit they're difficult because they set certain expectations, particularly with regard to the timing of things, and those are definitely moving targets. But it's certainly appropriate for us to share a medium and long-term view of where we're going.
Yes, thank you for the answer. I have one more question. Zach, I think you lastly posted a picture with boxes from the PundiX office. And I was wondering, I even got reactions to this question, could we get like a video tour of the office so we can see a little bit of it? Is that possible for us? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Walter. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions? Yeah.
Hi, Zach.
Hey, hi, Prophet, is it? Yeah, or who? Yeah.
Yes, it's the Prophet. I just wanted to say a few words. I just wanted to say well done to you and the team for everything that you've been doing. I think you guys have you've done a lot of stuff, quite more than where we actually think that the team will be as of today. I've been with the project now for over 4 years, and I can say that you guys have done tremendous work. So kudos to you and the rest of the team. My question quickly is more around the staking and claiming the staking reward. I think we all know what Ethereum has been doing in terms of fees, and I would probably say for a few people that and myself, that claiming the reward has just been something that it's been extremely difficult compared to what would have loved it to be, and it's the whole reason everybody is clamoring for the Function X blockchain in terms of fees and the various other features that it actually brings. Now, I am one of those people that one way or the other, I've sort of lost my staking reward because I was unable to claim it simply because of the fees. And again, I think I just missed the deadline. Is there anything that you and the rest of the team, Dave and the likes, can do to help we, the supporters that have sort of missed that one way or the other in terms of claiming the staking reward? Because although I've got just a few thousand, they are worth way more than a few thousand to me, to be honest. Is there any way that you guys can help us?
It's something that we debate a lot internally, like I think endlessly. I think for 4 years, even something that we struggle a lot internally. David, your take.
This is, you know, I mean, the thing, of course, we'd like to help with those things, and we all, you know, have suffered because of astronomical, you know, gas fees and things. And so again, I mean, this is I'm not going to say, you know, yes or no. It's something that obviously, you know, is something we'd like to address. And you know, obviously the ultimate answer is, you know, we always see it kind of evolving when things all go to the function X network, and when fees are in FX, as you all know, when you're doing things that are charged in FX, it's pennies, you know, literally on the dollar. So, you know, I have no comment. It's something that, you know, obviously would have to come from a you know, a group decision on that.
Can I just add something to it, please, if I can? I think I would like to propose. I mean, this is just a proposal. The team can decide to do whatever the team wants to do anyway. But I would like to just say one or two things. First and foremost, that those functionaries that we the supposers that we've missed one way or the other, they are extremely important to us. We've missed it because, I mean, for one way or the other, one reason or the other, we've missed it. But can I propose that even if you want to do anything, I would be more than happy for you guys to take a percentage of it to either donate it to a charity or whatever. But whatever is left of it, please just allow us to claim them back, please.
I think how should I put it? Like spiritually, I think one consensus, if that's the right word, that that internally that we came up with was that one thing we should try not to move the goalposts, in the sense that, you know, if we do move the goalposts once, we might need to move the goalposts the second time, and in that sense, in eternity. So I think the team has this philosophy whereby, you know, we try to channel those funds into other things that the community can claim, even though we do not say like explicitly, but we do try to do that. So by the end of the day, it still goes back to the community in a different way. And I think that is the spirit that we try to like work on. I know it's not a direct answer to your question, the Prophet, but I think, yeah, that is the spirit that we try to do things. Yeah.
Thanks to that, Zach. And whatever the team decides, we'll take our fate as it is. But yeah, it doesn't sort of stop us from saying well done to you and the team. Whatever happens from here and wherever the team decides to go with it, it's fine. We'll take it as it is. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for the 4 years of support, and to another 4 years.
You're welcome.
All right.
Hi. Good afternoon from this place. This is Daban. I would like to make a suggestion too.
Go for it.
Okay. Shall I say, first of all, Zach's and Mr. David, I will recommend your efforts, seriously. It's not easy, you know, to build a project and to make the project grow as much as people want. You know, everybody always speculates and wants the price to always go up or something. But the thing is this, I've like done a lot of research to so many projects, and I keep telling my community, I've not seen a community that is this passionate and forthcoming, as in work day to day, like Pundix team and community. I keep telling them that one day, for sure, one day, this shall I say, project and the product will definitely be something everybody will be talking about. And when it happens, there's no going back. No matter how you think about the price, good projects or good products always take time to like hit the market. And of course, because I know if not because of the compliance, Pundis will never be the place it is today. But the thing is this, the only one difficulty is everyone, especially in my community house, is this, is like, should I say, implementation. Okay, a lot of people have been expecting, should I say, exchanges, our exchanges like maybe KuCoin or Binance to accept one of our chain, maybe the Pundis chain or the FX chain. So they keep complaining that why is it taking time? I said, these things, I'm not a programmer, but I know these things takes time. With time, they will either like accept one chain or the other. I'm not a programmer, but all I know is that when you see a team that is working, it's just like an handwriting. You will definitely see the handwriting on the wall that this team is working, and no matter how many years it will take, they will never just go bankrupt or something. So I keep telling them that they should just keep faith. And seriously, I must give you guys kudos. Like, you work a lot, and it's a very nice thing, seriously. So congratulations and keep it up. Let me just say that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Davan.
Davan, thank you so much. I would like to address that you donate 20 XPOS handy to El Salvador, and I would like to shout out to you. Really, thank you for your generosity.
Yes, thank you, Davan.
Thank you very much too. I'm glad, and I will always want to do more. Seriously, I really want to, because I know the project is something that is nice, and it will definitely pave way one day. Because I tweeted to CZ a couple of years ago, and I told CZ something in the tweet. He might not see it, but I know a lot of people will see it. I said, I've not seen a realistic project like Pundis X. We have a lot of card, like so many cards out there pretending to accept crypto, but they actually don't accept crypto. The only one project that accepts direct crypto is Pundis. And when crypto go mainstream, that is when you know how effective and how important Expose is. I tweeted to him a couple of years ago after I did my research and other things. So that is also it. The spirit is there, and it will surely come to pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can take one question from the chat from RM. Would the team still like to do AMA in cryptocurrency Reddit channel? So for this one, we applied and we got approved. We got verified to be able to do an AMA on cryptocurrency Reddit channel. So it's a matter of time on when we can prepare this one and do it good. So we get as many people as possible to participate in this AMA.
Nice.
I also want to give a big shout out to the team for the work that you are putting. I'm always checking on Twitter. I see that especially the social media volume from the team has increased. So for me, a big respect that y'all listen to the community for that and have increased that. It's a very good sign, and also my big respect towards the team, and keep on going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for David, I think, if it's possible. As a former quality engineer, I'm a bit focused on compliance and something like you. And I have some questions because about the DEX. If we have a stock crypto pair, don't we have like all the eyes of the authorities on us, and maybe we got national bans or something like that? Because I think from the German, I'm an investment broker in Germany, so I really think the BaFin will say no to that and maybe give the national ban or try to get a national ban for maybe the FX wallet or the DEX itself or just the trading. But yeah, what will be doing? What will be you be doing to ignore that or just solve it?
Well, I mean, it's not something that one can ignore, but these issues are in a state of flux, and the question that a company has to weigh is, do you go forward with it and then get cut off, or most of the regulatory environment at this point is very gray. It's and constantly changing. And you see companies. I mean, I thought it was very interesting that Binance has pulled out of the running for a license for in Singapore from the AMS, but they had continued on for a long time. So I mean, I think the question is sort of like, what markets do you focus on? And as we also know, I mean, the thing is that it's always this cat and mouse, chasing, that as regulators are behind where the technology is, and as soon as they think they've caught up, then the technology goes to another place. And so when when countries have come down with an absolute ban on cryptocurrency, for example, people find a way around it. I'm not suggesting that we're looking to skirt regulations, but we have to let the technology develop as it develops, and then it's up to regulators to decide how they balance things. And so that balance that regulators always face is, do we protect consumers to the extent that we, curtail or dampen innovation, or so how do we do this? So we'll keep going in our direction until, and in those markets until someone says no, and then, we'll figure out another way. But I think that what we're seeing, I mean, after all, 5 years ago, people said, cryptocurrency isn't going to go anywhere. There's still, some of those people who are saying it. But if you look at the, percentage, if you will, of the economy that is in this area, there's no stopping it. There is that momentum. And so, what we're suggesting in terms of what the DEX will do is a threat to some. It's always because anything that blockchain does will be a threat to where intermediaries have been making their living, right? So where you've had stockbrokers or whomever stands in between a buyer and the seller to make money, they're going to be opposed to it. You have the same kind of reaction, from central banks when all of a sudden you start talking about, stable coins that could be an alternative to the fiat of a country. That, to some is a real encroachment on sovereignty. So we'll keep doing. We're not the regulators, and we like to be ahead of the game in terms of understanding what regulators have in mind and what concerns they have, and to the extent possible to address those concerns. But this is going to be a never-ending battle. And in terms of because what in the DeFi space, what we're offering, is access to a whole realm of financial instruments that have been out of the reach of everyday people. It's been only those who are, institutional investors or the very wealthy who've been able to do this. And what we're proposing, is a way for the common man to create or to recreate the kind of financial instruments that will enable them to obtain and retain and grow their wealth in a way that has only been accessible to that top 1%. So, you know, the answer to the question, yeah, is it going to be a problem? Sure. If it wasn't going to be a problem, then we're not doing enough. You know, I mean, that's really the way I see it.
Yeah, that was the answer I was looking for. So that's good. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions?
Sorry, it's the Prophet here again. I've got one question for Zach. I was watching a sort of an extract from the Ryan Matter interview that Zach and David went on. And there was something around the function X of DEX. And I think if my understanding is correct, what I had was that each of the pairs on the function X DEX would have its own chain. And I was just wondering, is it something that you would then have to set up validators for each of the pairs, or how is that actually going to work? Is it something that Zach can sort of put a little bit of light on for us to understand a bit more, please?
Sure. So obviously, when there's one different chain, we will need to have a validator. And I think it's a consensus and a middle way to find how many validators do we want for a particular pair, right? So for example, if it's like a, you know, heavily traded pair, ETH-BTC, maybe we want to have like 9 validators, and of them 6 is actually controlled by the community. And if there's a smaller pair, which is like, I don't know, say Alibaba-Tesla, right? So trading between two traditional assets, then we can have like 5 validators. So indeed, with every blockchain, we will need to have a different set of validator to control it. And it is actually not a new thing. In fact, if you look at a blockchain, there are different validators functioning as different things. You know, we have this full validator, which some of you are actually running. We also have Sentry nodes, which is actually functioning as a different mechanism, not for consensus wise, but for something else. So the answer is that we will need to spin up more validators to accommodate all these different layer 2s, which then connect back to the layer 1. Yeah, and all using the same native token. I think that it's important for everyone to know. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Zach.
Thank you.
So someone has asked what the status is with MAS. And what I can tell you is we're hanging in there. So at the end of the day, I'm going to send MAS a bill for the services that we have provided to them, because we've been an extraordinary source of information to them and really kind of bringing them up to speed. So, you know, I mean, there are we're obviously a much smaller organization than Binance, and Binance has either been rejected or they've been given face to be able to withdraw their application for a license, and that's fine. But we're hanging in there. And so this is often that time of year when many people make prayers to whomever or whatever, and give good hope for what comes in the year ahead. And so I know our community is strongly behind us. And so, if you will add an extra, votive candle or incense stick or whatever way, to send your good intentions about getting that license over towards Singapore, that will be much appreciated.
Indeed, indeed.
I have another question. That's yeah, concerning a bit of my side project, which I have running with Shadi, the Pandix Sheriff, the DAOverse project. Do you have a time frame when you actually want to add NFTs or side chains to the FX core, that we can actually launch a token to or another multi-chain blockchain to connect to the FX core network with maybe the possibility to build, create, and trade NFTs? Because from the user basis, this would be a really big one, because it can easily tenfold the numbers of users in like a month. So do you have an actual time frame? Is it coming like in 2 months or in a year or somewhere in between or even later? So just to have a bit of a calculation in mind.
Sure. So I would love to answer that question. But before I do that, why don't you tell us what you guys are working on? I'm sure some of the audience here are really interested to know.
What we are doing, the DAOverse.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually we are the guardians of the blind box project, Shadi, aka Pandix Sheriff, and me, which happens as a result of I think a weekend experiment of yours to fork like the loot yeah, NFT project. And yeah, we actually designed a whole metaverse approach for it. So we turned this 8 random numbers, because I'm a role play game nerd. So I saw 8 numbers and I thought that could be a perfect description for creating a character or an avatar. And we actually thought about this metaverse approach before they already all said there should be a metaverse. So everything is right from our minds. And yeah, we are setting it up as an NFT project where we develop 3D models at first. So the NFT space right now is containing almost only pixelated graphics or artworks which can't do anything but looking, yeah, mostly not even looking good. So what are we doing? Shadi is a top level designer there, so big shout out to Shadi. And we create those 3D models in full Blender mode, so we can use them in actual games. And the thing is, we both have fun. It's totally fun to build it, and we have the time and want to do it actually. And as Shadi said in the chat right now, we are hitting a top AAA game soon. So yeah, we are building it in Unreal Engine 5 actually. So it's the absolute top-notch, state-of-the-art gaming engine, as you saw maybe in the game engine teaser of the Matrix game. It's really crazy what we have as possibilities there, and it's yeah, we have the network and have people which are just wanting to build it with us, and we just have to go for it from the concept stage we are now to the ready NFTs, and then to the actual game development. I personally have 2 professional writers writing the story, the really bookable story for it, because they own a book publisher here in Germany, and I have them on my site, and they're writing the story for us, and much more. So I can say so much. If you want, or if you get one of those NFTs and the 3D models, there is a possibility even to print them and use them as 3D print them and place them on your shelf, or print them as miniatures to play a Warhammer game with it. So I have a manufacturer for it already. He wants to join us if we are on the right stage. So much more to come. So it's really in it can't be bigger from development. I can speak of for like the whole day about it because it's so big. But yeah, it's really fun and really developing.
Yeah. For those of you that are interested in NFT and metaverse-like things, I truly encourage you to check out the DAOverse project. Yeah, it's really exciting, and it came out from the community, and that makes it even more meaningful. And to answer your question, Alchemist, right now, FX Wallet is pretty ready to support ERC 721, which means that FX Wallet itself will be able to support Ethereum's version of NFT, if you will. And of course, that is on Ethereum, and maybe right on top of your mind is gas fees, right? Like, so at the same time, our own chain, FX Core, right now, we want to make sure that we will be able to migrate EVM compatibility support from testnet to mainnet. Hopefully, it will take about 60 days or even less to get there. So I think that is the first step to support ERC20 assets on FX Core, which means that you'll be able to launch your token and various things, including smart contract, which is, I think, the key. ERC 721 is part of the design phase as well. If we are lucky, we will be able to see that as well in FX Core mainnet, which means that you will be able to launch ERC20 token, ERC 721 token, and also smart contract on the mainnet. 721 is a bit of unknown there, but it is definitely part of the roadmap. Yeah.
I'm sorry I want to ask a question. As I said earlier, I'm not a developer. Are you saying sorry, how should I even quote it? Are we saying in the next 60 days or less, we should be able to build a fresh project on the FX Core? I don't really understand because a lot of people have been expecting this. They really want to build a project on the FX Core because when it comes to Ethereum, a lot of people are very skeptical. We know, yes, I've said it previously, all fingers are not equal. In fact, me in particular, in as much as, yes, the market has been favorable to me, when it's too stressful, I don't really even partake in it. I have a community I've built of over how many people, and they all have Pundis and FX. In fact, majority of them lost their FS due to the fact that the charges is very high. I personally contributed Ethereum to majority of them, maybe the ones that has like above $500 worth of FS, so that they can be able to claim and on stake. So I contributed Ethereum for. So when things get so hard to work on a particular wallet or chain, you see a lot of people lost interest about it. So what are we doing to make this thing more simpler? Okay, like for instance, now I usually make example with PancakeSwap. We shouldn't wait for bigger kind of implementation. There are things we can implement on FX Wallet that will look as simple as ABC, that will bring more crowd to FX Wallet. I was saying something this morning, like, okay, learn to aim. Small kind of questions about function X and Pundis X can just be put together with answers, so that when people see that, okay, they can gain $1, $2, $3 of worth of FX upon this X. You see, it will bring more attraction into FX Wallet. And once they come into FX Wallet and see how fast the wallet works and how lower fees they charge, you see a lot of people will keep coming. We keep coming in to come and learn just to gain those $1, $2 or so. So simplicity is another key. Simplicity, yes. When things are very simple, it brings more audience to the ecosystem. So, and that is one of the things I normally use for my community. Like I talk to them a lot, and I told them, say, let me tell you, I'm not a get rich quick guy kind of a guy. If you really want to invest in cryptocurrency, then you must do your research. You must do your own research, and once you do your research, you'll be able to know the right coins to put in your investment. And once you put in your investment, with time, you everything will be sorted out. So sort of, okay, there's a game I played on Telegram the other day, the one that Blue Switch created or something. Those kind of game, it might look so very simple, but we can actually implement them into FX Wallet. And people can just go around, play, and just earn a peanut and just leave. Before you know it, a lot of audience will be coming into our ecosystem. So just a contribution of mine, though, is not much important. Thank you.
Yes, I mean, simplicity is key, right? All the kind of like things that we need to go through on DeFi projects, we need to simplify it. And of course, we cannot change how much is the Ethereum fees when we bridge over into FX, because that's the fee that miners charge. But once in it, we will try our best to make sure that fees are very, very reasonable and the transaction is very, very high. So that is our objective. Yeah. And so far, we have been proving that it's going well. Yeah. All right. David, okay, let me just share one governance voting that will probably come up soon in, I would say, 3 weeks or so, which is the governance voting to actually move the EVM compatibility support from testnet to mainnet. There are two very important things that we should do. One, if you are running a validator, you should update that version so that the code is actually embedded. The second is actually, we should all vote during governance voting for this proposal so that it goes through. And when that happens, we'll be able to launch all sorts of dApps with EVM compatibility on mainnet. So that will be a massive game changer. So guys, go and vote when the proposal goes up so that we can push this into mainnet. All right. Christmas photo time, right?
Yeah. So
Right.
before everyone goes, okay, we can give you like 1-2 minutes if you want to open your camera, so everyone can take a photo all together. So if you like to have your camera on.
Okay.
Oh, we also have a dog.
Dog. And we have a very cute kid as well from FX World Validator. All right.
Okay, so
Are you guys ready?
everyone ready?
I like Sherry's cat.
Oh, okay. All the pets are coming out.
Okay, yeah. Welcome. All right, so guys ready?
Yes.
We'll take 2 times, okay? Okay, so
All right.
first time, right. 3, 2, 1, cheese. Okay, great. Let's take another one. Okay, Say 3, 2, 1, cheese. Great. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone, really, and have a happy, healthy, and safe New Year ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Happy
Thanks,
New Year
guys.
and a Merry Christmas. Yeah. Cheers.
Same
Happy
to
New
you.
Year.
Cheers.
Happy New